guys, welcome back. Sorry, not guys, ladies and gentlemen. I've cut my hair. Well, I also cut the other one as well, I think. So I trimmed my beard too. Looking really smart. I've got another review for you now. It's been a while since I did a review. It must be at least, what, 48 hours. So I've got this this kit here that I've been waiting for a long time. If you've seen my Jeep video, you'll know about a little special car I've got, which you saw on my driveway, and it's a car I'm very passionate about. I absolutely love them. I used to have a 2008 in Grabber Orange, left-hand drive, obviously, from America, as they all are, and I just couldn't get on with the left-hand drive. It's great on a motorway, it's fine on a long wide road, but once you get onto the A roads around Oxfordshire and stuff, you get stuck behind a lorry, and it was a nightmare to try and overtake. And also I found that passengers were very nervous because they were sat on the wrong side of me, so they couldn't get on with it either. So I sold that one on and waited for a right-hand drive one to came along, and got a right-hand drive GT 2017. I've had it now since June 2018. No, June 2017, yeah. It was built in March, got it in June. And yeah, absolutely in love with it. Beautiful car, love it to bits. Never seen the rain. It's got 700 miles on it, I think. It's just tucked in the garage all the time, really. But then I saw that Ford did the GT4, based on the GT350. And the GT4 Mustang is, although it's based on the GT350, it doesn't have the flat plane crank or the intake manifold that the GT350 has, that everybody makes such a fuss about. They return to a cross-plane crank, and Multimatic have managed to, working with Ford, I don't know if Ford build the engines or if Multimatic build them, but Multimatic are a company in Canada. They build the Ford GT as well, and they basically managed to build an engine that revs to like 8,000 but makes maximum power at so like 5.5. And you kind of think, why would you do that? Well, it's fantastic. It's a brilliant concept. If you've got a twisty circuit with lots of, you know, like say the bus stop at Spa, you know, you just go hammering in one gear, go through it, and out the other side in the same gear, because basically your 5,500 to 8,000 RPM rev band is giving you a hell of a wide band, if you like, without having to change gear all the time. So yeah, they've got that, and they fitted a Hewland sequential gearbox with the flappy paddle controls, so it's all ECU controlled and everything. It's got the Bosch Motorsport ABS, which is way different to ABS you've got on your road cars, believe me. And yeah, it's just a fantastic car. This year they were testing at Donington on a press day, and I managed to find out about that and went up there and saw them. And I met one of the guys from Multimatic, absolutely brilliant guy. There was another car there as well, in the metallic grey, Race Tune I think they were called. Really great bunch of guys, really friendly. Managed to get in the garage, spent plenty of time with them, having it around the cars, having a chat. Here's a picture of me with the Multimatic car, number 15. And yeah, you can see it's absolutely stunning. And I don't know if my face shows it, but I was loving it. And that car actually went on. The first race was Easter here in the UK, and that car, number 15, won the GT4 class in race 2, and it was pretty close to the front in race 1. So yeah, first race meeting out in the UK, and it won its class. Really well done, guys, brilliant. If you do happen to hear of me talking about this or see it, whatever, thank you so much for putting on such a great show, and I'm really looking forward to the next race, which is probably going to be May Day, I'm guessing, which will be a couple of days after my birthday. So I'll have a look now. So anyway, this is the model. This is the kit that Tamiya have had out for a while in America and everywhere else. But this one is, it's only just appeared in the UK. I've had it on order at Antics. They gave me a call as soon as it came in, and I went and got it yesterday being Friday. One thing I will say, if you look at this, it's got a sticker on it. And if you read that, it says torque tuned motor and electronic speed controller included. be very careful with these Tamiya RC kits. You will find that some of the UK models don't actually have an electronic speed controller in them. Some of them won't even have a torque-tuned motor. I think they do, to be honest, but if you look at the blurb underneath, if you're buying one of these models, look at the blurb underneath and don't think, you know, oh Christ, I've looked at that supplier and it's $118.99, I've looked at that supplier and it's $107. Yeah, that one might not have a speed controller, and then you'll have to go and spend another 20 quid on a speed controller. So be very, very careful what you're buying. The ones to really look out for is the Land Rover Defender, because that one has a speed controller and LEDs, and if it doesn't come with the speed controller LEDs, that's going to cost you quite a few quid more, even though the price difference between the ones with and without the speed controllers is hardly any difference at all. So unfortunately, yeah, support your local shop, which I always try and do with Antics. Support your local shop, but don't always be fooled. Sometimes you can end up paying like £199 for a model in this country, in the UK, that doesn't have these bits and pieces in it, and you can get it on eBay for 150 quid from China with free postage, and it's got all those bits in it. So, you know, yeah, you got to support your local model shop, but throwing away 50 quid and more to actually buy the stuff on top is foolish, in my opinion. So yeah, you need to look out for that. So yeah, this is it's a beautiful model. I've had a very quick look inside the box. I've only had the top off and put it back down purely because you could never get them back in. So it's all fitted so beautifully in the box, you can't always get it all back in. So I didn't want to do a review and open the box and show you it all the mess in there. I wanted to show you it as it came packaged. So I've done the review before I've even had a good look at it myself. So let's get inside the box and have a look. And also let me know in the comments below if you'd like to see a video build of this. I'll happily do it. But there are quite a few available already, so I don't just want to waste my time putting a video up if no one's going to watch it. And the other thing is, I'm really hoping and praying. This is Tamiya 30th anniversary of Tamiya America. If anybody's watching this from Tamiya, please make a 24 scale detailed kit of this car, please, and do the 4 GT and race trim as well, please. I will mention it more than once in the video because I really want it. So let's get on the bench and have a look at this beautiful model. Okay, so here it is on the bench. Let's have a look around the box. We can see on the front of here it's commemorating the 30th anniversary of Tamiya USA or Tamiya America. I'm hoping and praying, I've got everything crossed. Please Tamiya, would you do this kit as a detailed 24 scale model? Even with an engine would be nice, but if it's without, that's absolutely fine. But would you please do a 24 scale kit of the GT4 Mustang, and then everybody else can do all the different decals of all the different models. I absolutely love this car. I think it's absolutely stunning. And when you look at what it wins against, when you look at what it beats on the track, and look at what this car, even as the race car, costs, I think it's about 350,000 Australian dollars, which is about 170,000 pounds UK. You know, for a full up and running race car, it's just unbelievably cheap. You know, it's cheaper as a race car than some of the road cars it beats. So there you go. Fantastic piece of kit. And as I've just told you, with the bits and pieces of detail I know about it, you know, Multimatic have just done an amazing job taking you know, what's basically a run-of-the-mill American sports saloon and turning it into a monster track eating monster. Basically, it's just beating everything. So yeah, really chuffed. You may have guessed by now I like this car. So yeah, please Tamiya, do this, and also please do the race version of the GT4, because frankly the Revell one's not very good. It would be really nice to see you do this on the GT4. Well, not the GT4, the GT, sorry, this is the GT4. So anyway, so let's have a look around the box, and we can see on here, I'm sorry about the lighting guys, but the glossy bit is doing my head, and I still haven't ordered new lighting. I will do this week. You've got hubs here that emulate disc brakes, so it gives you a bit of realism. I should paint those silver anyway. This model will probably be sat on the shelf more than it is played with, but it will be built. You can read all about the TT02 chassis there, and if you're into your RC, you know all about it. One of the downsides of this model, it is quite basic. There's a lot of plastic parts which you would really want to upgrade if you're going to give this any serious use. And as with most things these days, you know, you could probably spend more on the upgrades than you did on the model itself. And then we've got some information here about the GT4, and then we can see here it's a official licensed product. So this is why I say, I mean, I think Tamiya have actually got the license from Ford to make their models and use their name and everything. Please do it in 24 scale. It'd be fantastic. And then over the box here we can see this is all about commemorating the 30th anniversary, and here's some hop-up parts. You don't necessarily need to get the Tamiya bearings. Wherever country you're in, there's going to be somebody that does them. They're all going to be like Koyo or some Chinese bearing or whatever. Probably best get the metal shielded ones. And there'll be a bearing set for this chassis available. I know in the UK you can get them for about a tenner, so, you know, on eBay. And then they've got the clamp type aluminium wheel hubs. I'm not sure what that's all about. Aluminium servo stay, so obviously the one that's in the box is going to be plastic or ABS. Probably perfectly good for anybody who's just buying this to use and play with as a toy, if you like, a glorified toy. This is probably more for competition stuff. And then you get the special dampers with the hard black coating. I did notice on the front of the box here it says ready to assemble radio control model, front and rear double wishbone suspension, coil spring damp suspension. It says damped. I'm imagining it's going to be friction damped with the rubber sleeve inside the screw. And it's shaft driven four-wheel drive. It's got a plastic shaft, I do know that much. So let's have a look inside the box. I've had a very quick look in here, but I haven't actually got anything out at all. And as we can see, it's the normal great big 10th scale polycarbonate body. We've got a chassis here. Here's our controller, as I was saying earlier about make sure you look carefully at what it is you're buying. There's a speed controller there, and this one will also take a brushless motor, I believe. There's the rear spoiler there, the rear wing, which is lovely, and we've got the mirrors there, which I wish we had these size mirrors on the UK cars, but unfortunately we've got these stupid great things which are about this tall. Yeah, I'd love to get some American mirrors for mine. So let me get all this out and then we'll have a look through. Okay, so I've got all the parts out of the box, and let's have a look through these bags. I'm definitely going to be building this, so I've got no problem opening these bags at all. Normal Tamiya stapled bags, which are a bit of a shame. You've got to be very careful removing the parts in case you scratch them. But here we've got our multi-spoke metallic grey wheels, which don't require paint or anything. And they're looking lovely. I'm guessing they're probably ABS. It says on here 1996 Tamiya, so maybe they're not that accurate. We'll see. But yeah, they are very, very nice, very, very strong, and also very light. So yeah, they'll look great on the model. And going through the sprues in no particular order. In fact, I don't even need to get all these out, really, do I? But you can see here we've got this is going to be ABS, I think. No, this is polycarbonate, so it's going to be extremely strong, very glossy, quite oily. You can see they've extremely polished molds, but we've got a motor mount here by the look of it, and then a cover for the motor, and this is going to be some sort of gearbox cover here. This is the end plate where we can move our motor around. If you've got different size pulleys, you can actually change your gearing in your motor, and you can see there we've got 18, 19, 20, so that's the holes you'd use in the two screws holding the motor in for, you know, for that gear that you're going to use. So all very nice, very tough. Anybody who's into RC would have seen all this before, because the TT02 is a very, very common chassis used in a lot of models these days. This sprue here looks very clever. What they've done here, they've actually overmolded. They've put metal inserts in the tool, and then they've molded the CV joint cups over the metal shafts, which is very clever. And there's two of these exactly the same, as you can see. And yeah, what they used to do was give you this as a metal part, which must have cost quite a lot in machining. So this is how they've obviously reduced their costs, although the price of the models haven't come down. So yeah, but it's another chance for them to make some more money and sell you an upgrade. So yeah, we won't go into that. But I'm guessing with machining and that becoming more and more expensive, you know, the kits would have been going up with inflation and other reasons as well. So I'm not going to bother. Oh, so we'll get this one out. We've got the discs on here. So yeah, if they kept making those metal spindles, then it may have cost more money. And I would have thought, Tamiya being Tamiya, probably don't want to start manufacturing in China. So here's the hubs, quite accurate with the disc brakes and everything. You can see we've got different widths on there. So yeah, very nice. I'll definitely paint these brakes silver so they stick out, because as I say, I'm going to be having it sat on the shelf. And there's an upright there, and there's some other suspension components. And again, this is polycarbonate, 2013, as you can see. So this is all going to be generic TT02 chassis parts here. And then we've got a rubber bumper here for the front, or a foam bumper should I say. Got to be careful of these staples, they get everywhere. Foam bumper there for the front, which is good. That'll help protect it in case you hit a curb. We've got our rubber tyres in there, which are very nice semi-pneumatic tyres, which are lovely. And then I've got another bag of sprues here. This is going to be another bag of parts for the TT02. This is actually quite flexible. So this is poly PA, which was that poly, not sure. But anyway, yeah, it's flexible. So this is going to be stuff like this that you don't want to break: suspension arms, shock absorber shafts, or bodies. You want them to be fairly resilient. You don't want them to snap. So that's what they've made these out of. There's our shock bodies there by the look of it. And again, there's two of those, so we've got two lots of pretty much everything. So what they've done is made the chassis symmetrical, both for ease of maintenance, ease of repair, minimal spares, and minimal sprue manufacturing. This is the mirrors and the rear spoiler. This was carbon fibre, so you could cover that in carbon fibre if you wanted to. Carbon fibre decal. And we've got the actual main floor pan itself, which is very rigid, very strong and sturdy, very stiff. Nice piece of moulding. Again, 2013 Tamiya. So this is just generic TT02 stuff. You get this nice flat bottom, so it will bounce off of curbs and stuff rather than get caught up with its underside surfaces. Now we move on. We've got our speed controller here, and I'm just going to check. I think this is the one that you can actually run. I'm going to take these staples out of here because I don't want to get caught on anything. I'd hate to go and pull a connector out or anything, or scagger wire. So this is double bagged, I think, yeah. So this is the they've actually used sellotape. This is a speed control. Yeah, you can use it on a brushless motor. It says on there brushless electronic speed controller, which is really good. So like I said earlier, make sure you're getting that. And then you've got all the information, health and safety information and everything in there. There's quite a lot of paperwork in there. So keep all that together. Because I don't really know if there's anything. I've never used a brushless speed controller. I'm not sure if there's anything particular that I need to know. Sometimes you can think you know it all and you don't. There could be a warning in there: never connect the battery before connecting the motor or something. You know, so it's best to always read stuff like that. And then we've got our great big bag here of RC parts, which is nice. So empty all this out to the table, and I don't need to open a lot of these bags. So here we've got a torque tuned motor, which is an RS540 motor. Not exactly sure what torque tuned means. It's probably just a little bit better than the standard. Certainly good enough for what I need. And lovely packaging there with the wires just coming out and being held in position. Got a bag here with some double-sided foam tape. There's some more double-sided thinner foam tape. and we've got some rubber O-rings and the clip rings for our body. What I generally do with these is put these in a pair of pliers and just bend the end up slightly. It makes it easier to get them in and out. Just bend it up to like a 30-degree angle. If I do a video build of this, I'll show you all that anyway. Let me know. I'm not sure a lot of people are going to want to see a video build of it. And then we've got all these gears here. Again, these are plastic. They used to be like a cast aluminium white metal type of material. These are all plastic. I'm sure they're absolutely fine, and again, as I keep saying, fine for me. Servo horns there and linkages, and we'll have the different hubs and everything for our different servos, and they've got converters in there by the look of it rather than having different hubs. And there'll be different screws, certainly. We'll look at the instructions in a minute. Phosphor bronze bushes and our bearings, they'll be replaced with an aftermarket set of bearings. As I say, they're about £10, so you may as well replace them rather than use these plastic bushings. And then we've got our motor gear, which is aluminum, depending where you are. The motor plate, the heat shield, and some various screws there. There aren't many screws with this model at all. Bag of screws A, bag there, and then we've got screw bag C and bag B. What I do is I've got some drawers, as I showed you. I've got a stack of drawers here with these all these little drawers, and I'm sure you've seen them. And I've got A through E marked across the front. And all I do is I'll take that one out, cut that bag open, empty them in there, and then I've got all those screws. These are some spare screws left over from a Harley Davidson I built, a 6 scale. That's what I do with them. And then if you want to walk away from the model and do something else, you've got all that then kept safely. Otherwise, you can just cut the corner off the bag and tape it back shut again when you've finished. And then in bag B here, we've got our springs, we've got a spanner. There aren't many screws at all. There's a few screws in there, and a few in there, but when you compare this to the Wild Willy, there's a lot less screws in here than I'm used to. So yeah, we've got our grease. So obviously there's no damper with anything, so as I said, those shock absorbers are going to be friction. So that's basically all the parts looked at. So let's have a look through the manual and the stickers and everything. Okay, so here's the basically the instruction pack and everything. We've got our antenna tube there, which we won't need if we're going 2.4 gig, which pretty much everybody does now. The stuff's so cheap it's untrue. Probably a set of health and safety instructions here, which you need to read through. Then we've got the instructions on the body, and this is how to, if you buy the body part set, because you don't have to buy the complete car. Basically it's telling you to cut the holes for the antenna. If you're not using the antenna, you don't need to. And you've got the holes for the body clips, wherever you want to cut your body clips, your body mounts, depending on what chassis you're using. If you're using the kit chassis, obviously it's going to tell you in the instructions which ones to cut. And then we've got our inner and outer lights here, which we glue in. So as I told you before, with the body, basically you trim it. I always actually paint it before I trim it. And then wash it out with soap and water, let it to dry, and then basically what they're telling you here is how to paint the bodywork, and there you can see, so you can have a look on there and pause and read it through if you want to. It's basically telling you how to paint the body and everything. And then as we move down, it's showing us how to apply our stickers. And then here we've got more information about applying stickers here, and this is basically the colours that were used by the cars originally. The core cars kept these stickers and everything going. But check your references, check your cars. They've done these in a few different colours now. So, but basically I think the original promotion cars, if you like, the first ones that Multimatic built were metallic grey, the gunmetal grey, but the one they're using now in the UK is actually a sort of pearlescent white colour. So it's telling you here to paint your lights, so they're going to be black around the surrounds, and then you're going to paint your detail in them. Oh no, you paint them black, and then you put your stickers on, and then you stick them inside the body. So that's going to look pretty impressive. If you're building it as a race car, you probably wouldn't bother with those. For chance you might tap someone and they'd fall out and jam a wheel or something. So got your mirrors as well here, which you got your actual cutting the mirrors out of the bodywork. Well, they said back here you've got to keep a piece of the bodywork for the mirrors, and then you're going to remove the protective film, cut them out. We're going to apply a sticker, and then cut the sticker out. Oh, I see. Apply the sticker, cut around the sticker, and then you've got your mirror, and then you've got your double-sided tape here to actually glue the mirror in. So that's all quite clever, and it all builds into a pretty impressive looking model. And you can see this is the standard body attachment points. And as I said, these clips here, give them a little bend up on the loop 10, just give them a little tweak, and it makes them easier to get in and out. So that's the body instructions there. And then we've got the main instructions. There's our window masks we talked about, so they're all nice. I think they're actually pre-cut as well. No, you have to cut them out. You have to cut them out as usual with Tamiya. So yeah, you're going to cut them out, and it's telling you how to line it up here. It's great. I do this with most stickers I use. Cut a section out of the middle, get it roughly in place. When you know it's right, rub the centre down, and then peel from the inside. Makes life a lot easier for getting them all fitted. And then we've got a massive sticker set here for the whole bodywork. We've got that's our front screen base scuttle, not scuttle, the panel around the base of the windscreen. Then we've got our sun visor there, headlight surrounds there by the look of it. This is going to be side trims for the side skirts, window surrounds, rear window fill-in pieces. These are the black portions of the front bumper and everything. Rear exhaust there. And we've got our grills, front grille, and then grills around the front there. Then we've got our blue body coloured striping. You've got the Mustang, the pony. I'm guessing that's for the back end. Headlight, rear light decals there, and then we've got our headlight decals with the indicator lenses or reflectors on the side. Shark's fins there. Unfortunately, in the UK they're not lit. In the US they are, which is a real shame. Door handles there, I see. And here's our stickers to go on our batteries and everything. So yeah, it's all very, very nice. There's our mirror decals there. So these are actual stickers. They're not waterside decals. They're actual stickers. And there's our, that looks like our windshield wipers there. So all very nice. It's going to look bloody awesome. Okay, so we've got our generic TT02 manual by the look of things. I don't think it's going to have anything about the Mustang in here at all. No, it's just the manual for the engine. In fact, the body they're showing there is actually a Ferrari body by the look of it. So yeah, so these instructions alongside your body instructions are what you're going to need. So basically it's just like I showed you with the Wild Willy. We're starting off, it's showing you all the bits and pieces you're going to need, your radio gear and everything. But remember, this particular kit I've got has the speed controller in it already. So what I'm going to do is a servo, a receiver, a radio gear and battery. So so there we go, some health and safety warnings about don't do this, don't do that. We've got a short and a long version. So basically it's saying this body can be used with wheelbase 257 and a rear wide tread type chassis. So remember I showed you it had those different widths on those brake discs, the hubs. So obviously you've got a wider rear end that you can use. So you need to read all this through. I'm not going to read it all now, but there's a lot of this is talking about how you could use this and what it's suitable for and what it's not suitable for. So we've got so we can have a short chassis, we can have it running high, and we can have it wide. So there we go. So there's your different options there, the different you can get from the same kit. So we're starting off, we're going straight into building our main drive shaft, going through the front middle of the car. Front and rear pinions there for the differentials, and that gear there will be the main gear for the motor drive. Telling us we've got to screw everything together there, and it's telling us which way to turn the screws. Wow. Then we're going to build our differential here. It's telling us we need to use grease. So this is we're going to make two of these because we have one front, one rear. But it's not telling you to make two. That's a bit weird. Oh, yes, it does. It says to make two. Sorry, I'm going blind. And then adding our bearings here as bushes with the kit. I really would recommend getting the bearings, even if you're only going to use this now and again for a bit of fun. because if those bushes get some grit in them and they start to wear the parts that are sat in them, then you've got to replace the parts and the bushes, and that's going to cost you a lot more than just replacing the bearings. As I said, a set of bearings for these in the UK through eBay are about £10, so worth getting all the time. And then we're going through now, we're putting in the front and rear differentials there, putting our motor together and using the correct screws to make sure we don't mess up with our gears. And then we're going to build our uprights here. Looks like I've missed a page. Yes, I have. They're putting our motor together there, putting the pinion on the motor, make sure you don't have the motor pinion gear off. And then for the short chassis, you're going to do this. And then we're going to build this is the rear bumper and everything going on. And then we're going to start on the front lower arms and add the front bumper. So that's all fairly obvious. We've got these balls here for the suspension to pivot on. Then we're going to, this is for making it high, if you want to make it high, and you've got some more uprights here. These are the front uprights, and the rear uprights there for using wide. So these are the parts you use for wide. This is the parts you use for high, and this is for normal, I'm guessing. So yeah, you have to look through it. It's so you've got C3 is the normal, and then C6 is the wide. So there you go, you can see one's wider than the other, and then you've got a wider disc brake with the hub going on. So there's the different parts and pieces for going high. I'm sorry if you're confused, so am I. And then we're going to build our dampers up here. These are just friction dampers, there's no oil in them or anything. There's no rubber in them either. So I don't quite know how they're going to work. I'm guessing this is just frictioned up inside this tube. I'm guessing. I don't know. It all seems to me a little cheap. As an old man, I'm 55 years old, 56 next week. I've built many of these in my time, and all this seems rather cheap. Everything's just plastic. You know, this used to be like some rubber sleeving on a metal shaft inside to give you the friction, the damping, and then some kits even had you know, actual oil dampers in them. But I think this is all done in an effort to force you to buy their upgrades, really, which is just seems a bit tacky. I can't see how that's going to work. Yeah, I don't get that. I don't see how it's going to work unless the friction is from this part here. We'll see when we come to build it. And then we're going to fix the rear dampers on. Then we're going to start to assemble our steering linkage. We've got some sponge tape going on there for something or other. And now here we go, we're going to set our servo up now, like we did with Wild Willie. Set the servo up into the centre straight ahead neutral position. Sorry about the dog barking. Obviously somebody walking by. And then we've got our different wheels there that go on the servo. You need to make sure you get the right one with the right screw, otherwise you're going to start damaging stuff. So make sure you get the right one. And then we're going to fit the servo. Oh, there's more steering linkages here. Servo mounts going in there. We've got our switch, motor mount, which has got the switch attached to it. So that's going to flip over and go into there. Here's that. So that's going over the motor. That's the motor cover. So the switch is actually inside. So you need to take the body off, switch it on, and then I would have thought the switch would have been underneath. Maybe you'll get your finger in there and switch it. And then we've got our tyres here going onto our wheels, and then putting the pins in, adding the disc brakes, putting the nuts on to hold the wheels in place. Again on the rear there, and then we've got to put some caution stickers on. Some caution stickers. I'm sure we're all going to fit them. Then we're fitting our body mounts here, depending on which way you want to put them. Make sure you get them the right way round. I'm guessing in the body instructions they'll cover that. We'll get that when we build it. And then we're going to add our antenna pipe if we need to, add the bumper, fit the battery in, put the body on, and we're away. And now it's given us all different options here. So this is what we're using if we're short, this is what we're using if we're high, it's what to adjust, and this is what we're using if we're wide. And then we've got our different mounts here for our motor, to have the motor in different positions for all your different teeth ratios. They're only giving you one in the kit, which is 22 teeth, 8.27 to 1. So you can go all the way from 11.38 down to 7.28. So that's going to be fast as hell. That's going to be for your tight and tricky circuits. And there we go, then some instructions on how to use it, how to practice, what to try, telling you should clean it and everything. There's a picture of the assembled chassis, and there's all our parts call out, just we get with our scale models, and it's telling us here we can use these parts if we want to for wide, and then all our screws, nuts, bolts and everything, and then a list of all the parts we've got in there. So that's it basically. That is the Ford Mustang, and use that along with the body call out there, and you've got your everything there. So thanks for watching. Please give me a like if you've liked this. If you want to see more scale modelling stuff, subscribe. If you want to see more RC stuff, maybe you don't want to subscribe, but pop back and have a look now and again, eh? I probably will build this online so that people can see how it goes together. There are a few builds of it already, but hey, some people like listening to me. I don't know why, but they do. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you all with another review very soon. I've got something a little bit different coming up. So I'll see you then. Bye bye.